Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show increases the live audience, of course, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Arwin, A Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, No Globe, Milu, Chocolate Sayin, and Warren. How are you all doing?
Doing great.
Good.
Excellent.
Yo,
Sticks and balls, prove the universe. You just gotta believe.
Can I just
Sticks
say,
and
well,
balls,
Milo
sticks
keeps
and
saying
balls.
that
baby.
Can I just say that Milo keeps
It's like
saying
the
things
sound.
like we are putting parameters to our own model by arguing different points? That's non sequitur. We are not putting parameters to a model. Stop saying that.
No, okay, so does water find its level?
Yeah,
That's a
Yes, it
parameter.
does.
but it's not a parameter to a model.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that we follow the AE map because water finds its
No.
level. That's
No,
ridiculous.
I don't know what we live on. Neither does anybody.
You're describing a model.
No,
Whether
we're
you wanna
describing an
say-
attribute of water that nobody disagrees with.
Okay, so this necessitates certain things. This law that you just created implies certain things about the Earth that you live on. Yes or
Like
no?
what?
Do
No.
you agree? Do you agree that
Yeah,
water finds
water
its level?
seems to indicate that it's flat as a pancake.
Of course.
Right.
You
What's
agree
your
that
point?
water finds its level?
What's your point?
Of course.
How do you get from
So
water finding
so
its
how do
level?
you get that? How do you get that on a curved ball?
Every point on a curved ball is level.
No.
It's
Really?
the antithesis
Relative
of
to
level.
what?
It's not.
Wait.
Perpendicular.
A curve is level now?
No, it's not. Curve's not level.
put a-
It's the antithesis
put a-
of being level. It's not level.
Wait.
Put
I need him to explain that to me. A curve
Level
is
is
level
straight. It's not a curve.
now? Please explain that to me, Milo.
All right. If you put a level on top of a ball, it is level.
No. If you put a level on top of a ball, it will fall off it. That's what happens.
Really?
If I was to do that right now and grab a exercise ball from on top of my fridge that no longer gets used by my wife and stick a spirit level on it, it would fall off because there's no level surface to put the spirit level on.
Now, what if the ball was 20 feet wide?
It would probably still fall off.
No,
Yeah.
it wouldn't.
And
wouldn't.
what would you be measuring? What would you be measuring? Would you be measuring
level?
it level?
If you create,
Because it
like,
wouldn't
okay,
be.
in construction, if you created a dome,
It's the antithesis of level. There's no level surface on it.
so take your spirit level to a bridge that obviously has a curve, and tell me if you can find a level point.
Right. All right. Let's
Dude,
experiment.
what-
What I'm
Let's
you're
start with a
telling me
ping
you
pong
can't.
ball. We agree that a ping pong ball is not level, right? It's spheroid shaped, right?
If you had a level small enough, you can find a level point on that ball. So
So you mean
this
no?
is what-
You're arguing for a
Dude,
balancing point.
it's a level. It's level.
No, you're
It's not.
arguing for a balancing
There
point.
is no.
So
There was
what
no
is-
straight edge on it.
Dude,
to put the
when
level
did
on.
level become curve?
This is nonsense.
Listen.
I'm sorry, right? Why are
Are
we
you
having this
serious
double
right
speak
now?
conversation? This is just total double speak. This is total and utter nonsense.
Okay, so you guys
Milo,
understand that?
Milo, seriously.
You guys
Hey.
understand that a circle
A curve
is
is
a
level
series of-
when you
is a
believe in
series of
R.
straight lines.
This is nonsense. This is double speak.
Okay. Take a spirit level.
Okay.
Take it to a bridge. Go to the middle of the bridge and lay it on the floor.
Okay, so what you're saying is because
No,
what
I'm
I asked
asking-
you was
I want you to
you
know-
believe
Uh huh.
you believe that water finds its level and you agree with that. Right?
You're moving on.
So
You're
now,
moving on from my point. Take a level.
no, this was
go to
my
the bridge.
original
Okay,
question
I've just
to
done
you.
it. I've taken a
but
level to a bridge, and I've put it on the bridge, which has got a curve in it.
middle-
And what do
the
you
middle
know?
of the bridge.
Oh, right, you're talking all over me. So I've done it, and it would seem that where the bridge is going up, the spirit level doesn't show as level.
It's not what I'm saying.
Well,
Yeah,
you
it
are.
is.
You're saying go to a bridge with a curve in it and stick a level on it. I've just gone and done it, and what do you know? The spirit level wasn't level.
I said go to the middle of the bridge and put a spirit level on
Oh,
it.
it just
Yeah, you gotta
teetered.
balance it.
How
Is
you
there any
balance it?
point?
It's
Is there any
flat on me.
size? Is there any size of any sphere shape that would ever be considered flat, or is there always an arc?
In an arc, there is no
Always an
level.
arc.
There is only the point that, in relation spatially to the other points, where a surface, a flat surface, could touch it, it would be at a straight angle. It's only
Yeah.
one point. That's not level.
Right. So
It's
let's just
the
start
angle
small.
on the sphere
ping
or
pong
on
ball.
the circle.
Ping pong ball can never be described as
Why
flat.
are you going to a ping pong ball when a bridge is
Because
a way better example?
I'm starting small so that we can get to an agreement point, and then we'll push
We
it
don't
out
live
as far
on
as we
we
get
don't
to.
live on a ping pong ball.
Right, but let's
Because a
just start
bridge is
where
not
we
a
can agree.
sphere.
We can
No,
agree
don't
that
live
a ping
on a
pong ball is not.
bridge.
A ping pong ball doesn't have a flat side to it, does it?
The top.
You think the top of a ping pong ball is flat?
Do you think the top of a bridge is flat?
Doesn't have
No.
a top.
Oh
Ping
my
pong
God.
balls
So
don't have a
take a
top.
level. Take a level. Take a
Take a
level.
level.
Go
Right,
to the
by
go to the middle
definition,
of the
it's an
bridge.
arc.
No. Go take a level. Go to the bridge. Go to the
Yeah.
middle of the bridge and lay it on the ground. And tell me if you don't see a level.
All right, so we're at the point where we disagree. So let's go back a couple of steps to the point
Oh,
where we
man.
agree, and then we can find out why we disagree. So we can agree that a ping pong ball will not sustain a spirit level. Agreed?
It's too big. The spirit
Correct.
level's too big.
Correct.
Yeah,
So
if you had a spirit level, the size, if you
hang
were
on,
to
hang on.
scale that up and made
Hang
the
on,
Earth,
hang on.
uh-huh.
Let's push the ping pong ball up. Let's call it a beach ball. Will a spirit level ever sit on a beach ball?
depends how big it is.
Right,
It's
but
a
it's always
ridiculous argument because I have a spirit level in my house right now that's like 3 inches.
all right. Let's move the scale up.
So
Let's
take
call
it
it
to
the
a
size of-
ball.
Tiny.
Let's call it the size of the Earth. Will a spirit
Mhm.
level ever sit on the top of the Earth and be called level?
Yes.
Really? So you think that parts of a circle are straight?
What do you think a circle's made out of?
You
Curved-
think that
curved
parts of a
edges.
Straight
circle are
lines?
straight?
It's not made out of straight lines, that's for sure, unless you're drawing it on a computer.
Circle is made out of straight lines, Milo. That's what you just
Circles
said.
are made of straight lines. That'll do for me. Thanks very much, Milo.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's 360
You guys are
degrees
ignoring the
of
bridge
straight
example.
lines.
You guys are ignoring the
No,
bridge
we're not.
example.
Dude,
A circle is
The bridge
360
Just
degrees.
Oh
my
recognise
God.
double
Never
speak
flat.
when we hear it. Double speak, that's all you're doing. You're not even that fluent
Oh.
in it.
I'm the only one being consistent.
Consistent, yeah,
Shit.
yeah. Balls provide flat surfaces. That's consistency, is it?
Go to a bridge.
Milo, we're
Go
just
to the
trying.
middle
We're
of the
just trying to
bridge.
reason with you, man. We're just
Who's
trying to
talking?
reason with you because I'm talking chocolate.
Okay,
We're
chocolate.
trying to reason with you, man, because you said that water finds its level. You agreed with that. We all agree with that. We all know that that's what happens in real life, right? So then
Yes.
I ask you, how does that work on a curved ball, on a sphere, like we're told that we live on? How does that work if water always finds its level, which you agreed to? How does that work?
How does that work?
And you said your immediate statement after that was curve is level.
No,
I need you to
that's
explain
not.
that to me
Chocolate.
because I don't understand what that statement means.
But chocolate, I want you to be honest because that's not what I said. You know
That's
that's
what
not
I
what I
heard.
said.
Correct him then.
That's
Correct
what
him.
I heard.
That's not what I said though.
What did you say? Correct him.
Please correct me. Yes.
I said
If I was wrong.
every point on a globe is level.
Sorry,
Every point.
he wasn't wrong then,
On
was
a
he?
globe.
That's what he just
On a
said.
sphere.
So he was
That's
absolutely
what I
right
just
then.
said, man.
So that's exactly
Yeah.
what he just said. That's what you said. So everyone's in agreement. You're an idiot.
Completely.
Yeah.
It's
So
300
let the record
degrees.
show that
So
Milo
let
was
me
wrong.
ask you a question.
Beautiful.
Let me ask you a question, chocolate. If you were to take a level, a 6-inch level, torpedo level, or it could be a 12-foot level, and you were to take it to the middle of a curved bridge, you're telling me that you would see something other than level.
That would depend on what part of the bridge I'm
Nah,
placing the level
I
on.
just said the middle. I just said the middle of it.
They would use more
not
sophisticated
listening.
technology. When you scale it up, you have to use surveying tools, and yeah, you'd establish a level transit, and then very quickly realise that the bridge raised in elevation.
No,
So, yeah.
Nathan.
What my point
I'm
is
talking
that
to
you can.
chocolate. You don't
All right,
even-
if you just let me finish. My
besides
point
that,
is
you're
that you can
bringing up a
actually
bridge.
establish that a bridge
I
has
asked
got a
you,
curve
how
in
does
it.
that work on a curve?
Hold on, chocolate.
You're
sphere?
saying there's no. First of all, you guys said that there's no flat points on a curve.
There isn't.
There isn't.
I
So
mean,
take a level and take it to the middle of a bridge and tell me what you see. You're
Yeah,
gonna
I've
see.
Milo,
just-
do-
you
are
just-
you
I was
hearing?
just trying to
Are
explain
Are you
that to
hearing what you're saying, man?
When you scale it up, you
Are
don't
you
use something
listening?
as
Are you
small as
listening to what you're saying,
There
Milo?
are no flat points on a circle, dude.
You're telling me that the middle of a bridge isn't level. That's your
No.
problem.
Dude, we're
Not if it's
talking about
curving.
a ball,
You
not a bridge.
preordained that it was curving, and I'm saying
Yeah.
yeah. And we go and measure it, and what do you know? We find that it's not level.
Yeah, because the bridge is so small. Now the Earth is bigger than the bridge, isn't it?
Right, but we've
Right.
just said it's not level. So we've got ping pong ball, we've got beach ball, we've got the exercise ball, we've got the bridge. None of them are level because they're curved.
Not according to a level. If you take it up there,
No, I've taken it up there and it says it's not level.
you're
It's
lying.
curving, like you said it was curving.
No,
And what do you know? You take a precision tool.
You are literally
But
arguing
hold
that
on.
a
You
circle
take a
is made of
precision
straight
tool and
edges.
measure it, and it shows it's not
Yeah.
level. What do you know? So what's your point?
You're lying. That's the point.
I'm lying, am I? So a
The-
guy
the
goes
point-
and
the
surveys
point-
a curved bridge,
You
and he
haven't done
surveys
it.
it flat, even though it's got a curve in it. Oh yeah, these engineers are just miracle workers, aren't they? They manage to
Yeah, so
survey curved bridges as flat, do they?
You know there aren't actually any curved pieces on a bridge, right?
You've
But
just
Milo,
stipulated
you
that this
realize
bridge
you
is
just
curved.
glanced
This
right
is
over
right.
my
You're getting
question,
better. Your double speak's improving. I'll hand that to you, but it's still nonsense.
You
Curves
you
are
realize
curved.
you just
Go ahead,
glanced
Chocolate.
over my question, right?
What was it?
Because when I asked you how does that work on a globe, you took it right to a bridge. I didn't ask about a bridge.
I
I'm
didn't take it to
asking
a
about
bridge.
how does
Anthony took it to a
What-
ping pong ball, so I took it to a bridge.
yeah, that was after you took it to the bridge.
No, that's not.
Regardless, I'm not talking about a bridge. How
Yeah.
does curved water work on a ball? Please tell me that. That's what I want to know. Because
Well,
you
have to-
agree that water finds its level. So how is
Mhm.
level? What does level mean on a curved ball?
Level means
What does
curved.
that mean?
Level
Yeah,
means
Because
parallel.
you said
to
that
Earth.
a couple of times.
Can you
Level
stop
Level
means
saying
means
that?
parallel
It's
to
it's nonsense. Can you stop
Yeah.
saying that level is curved? Because it isn't.
Oh,
No, sorry, that
man.
was me. I was joking at him.
You guys
Hey, look,
obviously
I mean,
don't.
you don't see how what you're saying slightly doesn't make sense.
You don't see that if
Right.
you take a level to the middle of a bridge, it's level, even though the bridge is
You don't-
curved.
No, I've just said
No, it
this.
isn't.
So we
Okay,
went
but
out with
it
precision
isn't.
But a
tools
bridge
and
is not
measured
a
the
ball.
bridge, and it was
By
curved.
definition,
Yeah, a bridge is a section of a curve.
no
Isn't it?
matter how big the circle, it's always going to be an arc. Never going to be straight.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So,
what
level
kind of curve are you
isn't
expecting
curved.
on an Earth?
So you're going to concede this, or are you going to keep with the double speak nonsense indefinitely? Level and flat, right? Flat, level, they're the same. Curved, that doesn't come into that.
Flat and level aren't the same.
Yeah, flat and level are the same, but
But wait,
curved.
so
they're
flat
not.
and level aren't the same, but
No.
curved
they
and
are.
level are the
Flat,
same.
level, they're the
That-
same
thanks.
things. Curved, that's not the same.
What the hell? Oh man.
This is the kind
Milo,
of
are
level
you-
of idiocy that we deal with on these debates, where we literally have to get down to pointing out to globe heads that flat is not the same as curved. It's reached the point now we've proven so much how flat it is that they're now saying, well, flat is actually curved. That's the level of doublespeak that these guys will subject themselves to, the level of cognitive dissonance. Well, flat isn't really flat. Flat's really curved.
Yeah, did you know on a circle
It's
there's
like-
360 degrees
Nathan,
of straight
did we get
lines?
closure on the radius point? Because he was talking about the circumference and all that. Did
Oh,
we
he
get
didn't have
closure on
anything.
that point?
He had nothing.
Well, you guys don't agree that we can measure we can measure distances between continents. So
Yeah, we do. We agree.
Yeah,
that.
but you still haven't gotten to the point
Yeah,
where you can
no.
tell us where you got from traveling around in a circle on a flat plane to a sphere. You haven't told us that. You just jumped
Because-
right to the sphere and circumference and all
So-
that. You haven't
so-
told us where you made that leap.
because okay, so when you do this, if you were to do this, go west and end up in the same spot you started, You have two
So
options.
you're gonna repeat yourself.
No,
aren't
let
you?
him say it.
You're either going in a right or left turn in a circuit, or you're traveling over the surface of a ball. There's
So it
no
proves.
other options.
So it doesn't
No.
prove then. Doesn't prove either way then.
So now,
Okay, so if I
sorry.
if I told you to get
Hold
into
on,
a car,
hold on. Let me just get an acknowledgement from him. So what you have described does not establish that we're on a sphere, correct?
my next point does. My next point does.
Go ahead.
It's steps. There's steps. There's steps. There are steps. So okay, on a flat Earth or a globe Earth, the equator is the longest distance you could travel in a circuit or around the globe. It's the longest distance. There isn't a greater distance you can travel.
No,
but
that's
the
not true.
equator.
That isn't true on a
So-
flat plane.
So show me.
On a flat plane, the equator would be in the middle, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
On a flat
And
plane,
below
the outer edge where the ice wall that you're talking about would be the longest distance.
And that's the problem. That's a problem with the AE map.
But that's
Sorry,
your
we're not
speculation,
trying
though.
to establish problems with a model that you assert on us.
Nathan,
We keep
Nathan,
saying this. We're trying to
Nathan, sleep.
establish where you get to R, and every time we
Anthony,
get to
keep
the
going.
steps, you say there's steps, I've got to take these steps. And then the next step is debunk a straw man.
Yeah.
No, it's not a straw man because you
Yeah, it
guys
is.
actually
It
believe.
is.
No,
You're
you're
debunking a
you're
straw
stepping
man. We're
over
trying to
the
establish
edge
where
here.
you get to the bit where you go from round in a circle to concluding you're on a sphere, and you say, well, what I do is I come up with these two options, and only these two options, and then say that one of the options doesn't work, therefore it can only be the other. No.
Nathan, round in a circle is the AE map. So if you're gonna deny the AE map,
So
then
what?
you have to deny that we go around in a circle.
I
don't go in
haven't
a
done
circuit then,
this.
right?
Have you done
Hello.
this? Have you
Hello,
travelled
let me
around
ask-
the equator in a circle?
You've already agreed that we know.
Sorry,
the
have
distances
you
between
done
continents.
this?
Why would I need to?
Because you're asserting that it's true. Yeah, that's why. We have this thing that we do when we want to check something out. We check it out. We don't just assert it.
I'm relying on the distances between. the
Oh,
known distances
really? You're just relying on what you've been told. I see.
You are too.
No, I'm not relying on anything. That's why when you bring up this map, I say I haven't asserted this as a model. People try this on this show all the time. They try and strawman us with the AE map.
Sleeping Warrior, is there a distance longer?
Sorry, I was
that you-
talking to you. So we still haven't established where you get a spherical value from. Are you going to do that? Is there a step for that? We've already
Yeah,
established
we've
there
got-
isn't.
so-
All you've done is present a straw man and the AE map that we don't ever put forward as our model. So where is the connection to sphericity?
So okay, so can we agree that there's only two options?
No!
No.
You deaf idiot. That's what I've just been through with you, you complete mong. Right? No. That's not what we are doing. You're not going to build a straw man to destroy it to say that your other winning argument of globeness suddenly becomes valid because you've destroyed a straw man. No.
So are we honest people trying to figure out this?
Oh no, don't you dare accuse us of dishonesty just because we don't accept your shitty straw man. How dare you? Who the hell do you think you are?
Okay.
That's
I've
not
already
okay.
tried to
So-
present a
so-
third option to you, but you just seem to disregard it every time.
I want to hear it, Arvin. I'm sorry. I want to hear it.
The
But
Earth,
I would also like to see what it would
rectangular
look like.
looping. Yeah, that is something, and I can explain it in detail. I do on my own Hangouts. Then
Can you
the
share your screen?
equator
I
is
wanna
a
see what this
straight
would look like.
line, and if you move over the straight
honest, I wanna
line
see this as well.
equator point, this line determined by how the heavenly bodies are at that longitude, then eventually you end up at the same point you started.
Yeah, but
Moving
I
in
would like to
straight,
There you go.
perfectly straight line.
There you go. You don't have to accept Arwen's fairy tale, and we don't have to accept yours.
No, but I would like to see what this would look like.
It doesn't matter. It's just a fairy tale. It's just so story of how it could be, right? Now he's not presenting a second option and saying, look, if that other option fails, then it absolutely is rectangular looping. No, that's not what
No,
he's
but it's
doing.
not-
That's what you're doing. Building up a straw man so that you can say you've won, right? It's crap. It's a shitty argument.
Nathan, the thing is that
If you
it's
want
not
to know
even
more
a
about my
viable-
model, my presumed concept, then go to my channel and check out my Hangouts about it.
Other
No,
Explain it
Harwin,
in
I'm
detail.
actually curious about what you think we might live on. So I would like to see what that would look like. I honestly would like to see what
Well,
this
watch my
looping
hangouts. I
model
have
would look
several.
like.
Explain it in
Do you have
detail.
you don't have an example of what that would look like?
Yeah, I
No.
do.
Readily available. So can you
Yeah,
just put
I
that
do.
up?
It's on my hangout. Go and watch it.
Anthony wants to see it too.
Anthony has seen it. He has actually watched my
No,
hangout.
he just told you to put it up.
Okay, I need to find a map of what sort of the model would look like, which is still a rough
Okay.
estimate with a lot of speculation in it. Okay, I'll look it
Uh-huh.
up. If you hold on for a moment.
That's awesome. So this is the thing. So we have two options, and now we have a proposed third option. But the third option is only an option if it could be presented.
These are not
If it's just
options.
a, if
These
it's
are
ju- if it's just
models,
a
right? We don't
concept.
live on models. These are not options, right? That's why we scientifically validate things. Models are pseudoscience. This is just some
Nathan.
other fairy tale. So you're saying, look, now we've got 3 fairy tales to choose from. You've got to pick one. No, not at
No, that's not what
all.
I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is
it
what
is.
you're saying. You're saying we've got
No.
3 options. No, there could be infinite numbers of options. We don't have
No,
to
the
pick
thing-
any of them.
The thing is that this Earth
Milo.
gives us parameters. The distances between
Milo.
continents is a
Can I ask
parameter.
you? Can I ask you a question, Milo?
Nathan, I'm presenting.
Just
Do,
give me a
do
second,
you
Darwin.
do you feel like you have any intellectual honesty?
I'm
to-
trying to
about yourself?
hear option. I'm trying to hear you guys out. What are you talking about?
Answer his question.
But you're
So
not,
Nathan,
but you're
tell me
not
when I'm
really trying to
presenting.
hear us out.
Hang
Well,
on,
we're
Milo,
trying to
answer his
present
question.
things
He
to you.
asked, do you feel as though you have intellectual honesty?
Yes. And if you guys can propose a situation that can
Hey,
explain
Peanuts.
all
I'm
the
about
physical
to.
all the physical known things that we see on this earth,
Explain
then
or prove.
look, if the equator is 25,000 miles around and the distance below the equator is less than 25,000 miles around, you have to show this in your whatever presentation you want to. If you have a third option, you have to propose. You have to
Hey,
show this.
And
You can't just
and
say.
in
Nathan, just
No,
tell
don't.
me
and in
when.
intellectual
Feel free
honesty,
to, but you don't have to
that
do
w-
anything.
the
That's
example
nonsense.
of that would
We
be
don't need
me
a just
saying
so
I don't
story.
know if the equator is
Yeah,
25,000
but I love
miles
to.
around.
I love
I
this
don't know
stuff.
if that's the case.
Well,
I'm a
chocolate.
cosmogonical
You-
theorist. I love alternative
Yeah,
models. So.
I'm more than willing. I've got you presented now, Arwen, and I'm more than
All right.
willing for you to present your views on the shape of the Earth. That's the whole point of the show. However, the point that Milu's making is that we have to present a fairy tale, and we don't. You can just smash the living daylights out of their nonsense and show where it's invalid and where they use logical fallacies. You don't have to present an alternative. You don't have to say there's only 2 options here or 5 options here, and you're going to pick one. Let's start discounting the options, and then last one standing's true. That's not how it works. That's nonsense. You've got
Correct,
science
you're
to
right.
prove how things actually are. You know, these guys claim to be backed by science. You're not claiming to be backed by science. This isn't the model of the world, but I'm more than happy to hear it. Anyway, the floor's all yours, the mic's all yours, Arwen.
All right. So, if you're watching the Hangout right now, you're seeing a potential layout of the rectangular looping map. So, what you're seeing here is basically a cutout of how it could have kind of looked, how it could look when you look from very high up, and if there theoretically was not obstruction by air and all that. So it's basically a downward look at the rectangular looping Earth. So the thing about it is, it's looping. That means that it's basically interconnected, like if you want to imagine it more in a way that is comprehensible, if you connect the east and the west part of here, the left and the right outer sides of this picture, connect them like a tube. But they are not physically connected like a tube, because there is no shape derived from it. It's all perfectly flat. It's just how the space is interconnected within this limited realm, a spatially limited realm. So this spatially limited realm, the rectangular looping Earth, is looping from east to west, at least, potentially could be looping north to south as well, but we'd have to do a lot more exploration to actually figure that out. And the equator line, and you can see it right there in the middle, You move over it, it's a straight line. You go from east to west, and you end up back where you started. You can go on forever for as long as your fuel lasts or whatever you're using to travel with. Just goes on indefinitely. All over a flat surface. You just continue moving. That's how it works on my conceptual model.
Put your cursor on the far east of the equator line.
There is not really a far east, but do you mean Indonesia?
On what you're
Hi,
presenting right now.
James. How you doing?
On the edge of the picture, you mean?
Right.
there.
So what happens east of that?
Well, this exact point, this cross section of these squares, these latitude, longitude squares, this point is the same as that point.
So they're connected.
It is there. This point is there, and vice versa.
So this is two birds.
This outer edge of this picture is physically connected to that outer edge.
So this is
within the looping confine.
So you think we
Like
might live
imagine Pac-Man, Milo, if you can understand it. Imagine Pac-Man.
That's one way to
Pac-Man
imagine it,
works?
or you can imagine your computer screen.
The way Pac-Man works is it literally almost phases into the other side of the screen. So we're just saying is that when we go
Indeed,
east,
and if it has a scrolling function, then you can center around the Pac-Man, then the screen will move underneath you in the same way. That is how we experience it.
So you think we might live in some type of matrix or something, like a
like Neo
a
in
matrix,
the train station, exactly. So when
It's
Neo's in the underground,
especially looping confine. That's how I call it.
It's a simulation, huh?
No, it doesn't have to be like a computer simulation. It's just a spatially limited confine that is looping.
Well, if I were to cut this out of paper and I were to connect the east and the west, I'd have a cylinder. You're not suggesting that the Earth is a cylinder, right? You're suggesting
I am not. I'm suggesting that it is spatially looping, and only to imagine the interconnection would it help somewhat to understand how that works, not spatially, but just how the land is interconnected. Then you can interconnect it like a tube, but it is not physically like that.
So
I do not presume R. I do not presume R. I presume a looping confine, which is straight and level and flat.
How can it be physically connected but not be a tube?
Well, by taking out the presumption that space is linear.
So that we might
that
be
it is
phasing
infinite. That it is infinite in size potentially.
So we're phasing.
I presume we are living in a limited spatial confine that is looping.
So what you're saying is that you can potentially be on both sides of that map at one time.
No. You're only at one location on this map. If it is a correct representation of the Earth. But it is interconnected. So if you move to one side and you keep on moving, you end up on the other side. Because it is interconnected. It is spatially interconnected through the loop.
Right.
That is an inherent part of the system.
Right.
Can I ask a question?
Well, hold up. I think it's an interesting, thing, Arwen. But I also kind of feel like the AE map is more credible than.
Oh, you feel that? Well, I don't.
Well, because you're proposing extra things.
This concept is
more
credible.
It's not model wars. Come on, calm down, Arwen.
No, I'm calm. I'm just saying that I disagree. There's a lot of problems with the AE map.
But why is the AE map more credible to you when you believe in a ball? I don't get that.
Because I can.
Correlation.
How do you?
Because half of it looks more like a globe. That's
come from a globe. It's a global projection. It's a spherical.
Because it could
projection.
it could only be in my mind. It could only be one of two things. It could either be
Nathan,
the AE map or it could be a globe. Because
Nathan, can I just interrupt a sec?
So you're on the fence.
Go ahead. There's no rules.
I'm on the fence for the sake of this conversation because I want to grow with you guys.
Nate, we've had 90 minutes of discussion back and forth with what's his face. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. Milo. And Twitwit said,
I love you, Anthony. It's Milo. Thank you.
Milo.
Twitwit,
Sorry.
Twitwit has just said in chat, I'm only here to hear a response to M. Scott Veach's video. I'm gonna make it suggest that we drop Milo because he's dominated it for 90 minutes, and let's do exactly that. Let's respond to M. Scott Veach's video instead.
But M. Scott Veach is not here though. That's the thing. You guys want to be in an
I know,
echo
but you've had
chamber? You
90
guys want
minutes.
to?
You've had 90
but
minutes of nothing but philosophy.
But no one's gonna come in my no other ball lifter is gonna come in. So it's
So
better.
does that mean
this
that
is
we
a
should
debate.
stop all of the conversations that are better than the one that we're having right now, which is basically philosophy, right?
Well, is it a flat Earth talk or is it a flat Earth debate? This is the thing you guys have to figure out.
What I'm asking, Nathan, is can we change the topic?
Let's change it.
You like. You know,
okay.
If the guy in the panel wants to stop you though, that I'm not going to stop him talking about a different flat Earth subject if he's going to force that issue. But he's got, he's not proven R.
Based on the logic, I don't think he'll be able to stop himself from interrupting. So I guess that we'll not be able to address Scott Veach's most recent vid, and Twitwit won't get her answer.
Well, can you guys do it on a QED or something?
I'd actually be okay with you responding to that. So,
I'd like.
What does QED stand for?
Say again, no globe.
What does QED stand for?
What does QED stand for?
Yeah.
Eret demonstratum. It has been demonstrated. It's Latin.
Right. So can you guys do that on a QED? When you guys get to talk to each other about different things?
I've done it on a video. I've actually done it straight after. So by coincidence, I was making a video and then Anthony and I had a conversation literally while I was making the video, and he asked me to tag on a little bit on the end because from what I understand, M. Scott Veach is asserting that no matter how, if you've got something bigger than the obstruction, it'll never be obscured because that's how it looks inside elevation, and yeah, you can draw a straight line to it. However, there is an angular size reduction at distance, i.e. perspective, the thing that we say you could actually be calculating for, a secondary function that you don't apply. Well, I just did a video showing that you can hold on, you can obscure a car. So I strapped this on, I was using things of equal size, i.e. 2 Blu-ray cases, and just moving one further away and showing that it became obscured. But then, after speaking to Anthony, he said, well, M. Scott Veach's point is that if the thing's big enough in the background, further beyond whatever's obstructing, then it cannot be obscured. I was like, well, there's a car being obscured by my, 3 or 4 mil of Blu-ray case, completely obscured. And it's because it's far in the distance. Not that far.
How'd you obscure it?
Just with something in the near foreground. Things in the foreground can obscure things in the background. It doesn't matter how big they are. You see, a very small thing like your thumb can obscure this whole sun that's on screen. You just put it up close to your eye. It's amazing. It's called perspective.
Can I share an objection to
that? Hey, Pete, how you doing?
Can I share an objection to that, though?
No, there is no objection to perspective. It's just something everyone encounters every day of every life.
Not an objection to perspective, an objection to your thumb blocking out the sun, and why that's not a good example.
It is, because it demonstrates perfectly exactly what I just explained, which is that things in the near foreground can block out things in the distance because they become smaller. Add to that the fact that they're dropping over an alleged curve, and it leaves you guys absolutely screwed.
This is the thing. Not if the thing that you're claiming is obstruction is
I'm not claiming an obstruction. You do this all the time, Milu. You seem to get it somehow twisted in terms of who's asserting what. You assert there's a bulge between us and the things we see. That's what you assert, idiot.
So why do you put your thumb in your face to block out the sun and
to demonstrate the effects of perspective? Yeah? You're getting it, dumbass. Perspective is real. You don't account for it. Yeah? It's sinking in slowly. I can kind of sense it with some of the globers. Not all of them.
So how about you try putting your thumb parallel to your line of sight and tell me if you can block out the sun?
Did it in this video. Do you want me to play my video? I'll play it on screen.
Honestly, a waste of time with this guy. Ask him what's going on the screen now, Nick. The sun,
yeah, but it helps. It helps make more flat earthers. When Globers hear his arguments, it helps our point.
I'm good.
It really does. It
Lewis,
really does, though.
No, you're exposing yourself.
With Nathan's sunset here. What's happening?
You guys need more flat earthers, I think. So I'm good with you guys increasing it in popularity. Actually,
thanks. You're helping that.
This is an ad for.
That's fine. If you think it's helping.
Can I just say to anyone who's listening, when you're looking at Nathan's screen here, if you can identify the mirrored line, right? You're looking at the furthest it's possible to look out over a flat plane at the horizon. It could be many, many miles, but the ballers will tell you that the furthest you can see is to the hard horizon line here, which is 3 or 4 miles at eye level. This is their Achilles heel.
Let me ask you something, Pete. Where do you think the sun is in this image?
Where do you think the sun is? Well, the sun has been reflected against a contoured mirror-like barrier. So all it is just actually moving away, but you have the mirrored water line, which is blocking your vision. So it stops you from seeing it. So when the angle of the sun rays get to such an acute level, we experience that as darkness. Then it's all.
So let me ask you this: when you're looking 90 degrees over flat water, the sun is parallel to your line of sight when it's over your head, right?
90 degrees looking up, right?
No, I'm saying if you look 90 degrees over water and the sun is overhead, the sun is parallel to your line of sight, correct?
You look 90 degrees over water. I'm not quite with you, man.
So, okay, think about it. You're looking 90 degrees over water. Uh-huh.
Well, hang on, 90 degrees up like this, right? So if I'm
you're looking parallel to the water.
That's not 90 degrees. That's 180 degrees or 0 degrees, right?
Okay, fine. Your line of sight is parallel to the water, right? And parallel to your line of sight is also the sun, right?
At sunset, you mean, and sunrise?
At any point. At any point.
You're not very. No, of course not.
Physically, the sun is.
Nathan has perspective on his screen right now.
Yeah, this is side elevation at the moment. This is side elevation.
Oh man.
What's up, Spurs?
Yeah, don't boot me. I've changed my photo. It's only me.
That's perspective. How you doing, Spurs?
Yes.
Spurs, how you doing?
Hey Pete. Hey Kosher. Hey Nate.
Hey Spurs.
Hey,
all right, Milo.
Milo.
What's up?
Milo.
All
right, so Nate, look at Nathan's screen right now.
Okay, you see how
in Nathan's screen.
Can I tell you the problem with this example? The Blu-ray case is not parallel to the line of sight of the camera.
It's right in front of the camera.
Hold on.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I'll address that.
It's right in front of the camera.
In your curve calculator, apparently we must and do at all times angle our camera down. So what's wrong with that?
No, not angle it down.
Sorry. Yeah, that's what they do on the curve calcs.
This is what I'm saying.
No, you're saying it's an objection, and I'm saying nah. That's what you do in your maths.
So what do you think?
What do you? Yeah. I'm angling the camera down. Yeah, that's what you do in your maths.
What do you think this blue?
What do you? Yeah, I'm angling the camera down because that's what you do in your maths. Next objection.
You're not adjusting anything I'm saying.
Yeah, I angle the camera down. Try to listen rather than speak when I talk. I angle the camera down because that is what you do in your maths. Whether we want to or not, we must in your maths. Okay? Next objection.
I'm saying the Blu-ray case is not parallel to your line of sight the way the water would be parallel to your line of sight when you're looking over it. You understand?
Is it?
You have a line of sight over the water that's parallel to the water. You understand?
180 degrees.
That's pretty parallel to me.
180 degrees.
No, you're right, Pete. You're right. So when you're looking parallel to the water, nothing. Yeah, the water cannot rise up.
Didn't you just listen to what I just said? We never look parallel to the water in your mathematics. We always angle the camera down. Didn't you hear me?
And did you hear what he just said, Nathan? He said the water cannot rise up, but on a sphere.
Right, Milo.
What
if you have a wave?
What the hell do you think this Minions DVD is representing? It's representing the bulge. The very fact that you have a system with gravity where you're supposed to be on the top of it. This nonsense. But according to your maths, there's a bulge, right?
No, Chocolate says something.
The two who are fighting it out, and on the far side, the falls continuing to stay on.
Shout out to Twitter.
Trying to pass that joint over here, Pete.
It's too early for that, man. But
I mean, anyway, I think Anthony wanted to move on to Mr. Scott's video, which I think we should do because.
No, Chocolate actually wanted to say something. Chocolate.
What I wanted to say was, if you had a wave right in front of the camera,
right?
Like if some of that water obscured the camera, it would definitely obscure something further off into the distance, right? Something 30 miles away, 40 miles away. Right.
Yeah, and if the wave was right in front of the camera, yeah, but if the wave was parallel to the line of sight, No, if the wave was parallel to the line of sight of.
How many times have I got to say? Your mathematics force the camera to point down. You don't have level transits in your mathematics. That's our objection.
He's not getting it.
He's not getting
No,
it. It's
you're
too
not
dumb.
getting it.
Just
If we
too
live
dumb.
on a, if we
You're
live on
not
a
getting
flat
it, Milo.
No, if we live on a flat Earth, and you look parallel to the water, there's no wave that can rise up above your eye level.
Yeah, oh really?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
let's just test that theory and let's
Yeah,
play the video
perspective,
through and actually
can.
have a look at what happens. So, we've got this in the foreground, yeah? We've got a DVD, which is lower than the level of the camera's lens, which is at the top, although it's on the other side. And when I put it behind a further distance, it disappears. Not only that, you've got cars that are travelling alongside the DVD that physically travel into the DVD, even though it's a couple of millimetres. The obstruction in this instance is absolutely minimal, and yet you can see from right to left a car disappearing behind the Blu-ray. Well, we're not talking about massive obstructions here. We're talking about an equivalent to the bulge. Something in the foreground that is small compared to something in the distance that's small because of angular size reduction, like the car. The car's considerably bigger than the DVD, and yet it magically can be entirely obscured by a 3-inch, or not even that, half an inch of the top of a Blu-ray. Why?
So
because it's close. That's perspective. Something you guys deny. The car, according to you, can't be obscured, right? You can't have this effect where it disappears behind it. Well, it does, because that's what perspective does. It causes big things to become small and closer to the horizon. That's perspective.
Yeah, and let me add to that that if you think about looking down at your feet and looking up, that's your scope of vision, right? So something like a Blu-ray will take up a greater percentage than a Blu-ray in the distance, where you know it's a much less percentage up.
Right, but check this out. Check this out, Pete. If they were on level ground and you were to put the camera's midpoint at the top of one Blu-ray, you'd be level with the other Blu-ray. Would you say?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Awesome. So back to my point about if we lived on a flat Earth and you looked parallel to the water's parallel to your line of sight, right?
Sorry, we're not trying to debunk this here. You're saying if we're on a flat plane, right? We're saying that according to you, it is okay to ignore perspective if we're on a sphere. When we're saying no, perspective still applies regardless of what the shape of the Earth is. Perspective always applies. You just don't apply it.
So how can a 3-centimeter wave that is parallel to your line of sight obscure anything in the background? That's what I want to understand.
Work out the angular diminution of whatever your target is, and
Ranty showed it recently.
The math, yeah.
That one too.
No, Pete. He's onto something because I feel like he could follow me right now. If you look, Pete, think about this. If you look over water, you're looking parallel to the water. Think about a 3-centimeter wave. 3-centimeter wave. You're looking parallel to this 3-centimeter wave. How is this 3-centimeter wave going to rise above the parallel
Ranty
line?
showed this in the last hangout. Not last hangout.
I'm just digging it out. It'll be up on screen in a second or two.
He thought he did, but he didn't because he didn't scale anything.
You're just gonna deny it, right?
Scaling the perspective scales it for him.
Exactly. You have to think about the scope. You have to think about the target you're looking at and what is in.
You're not understanding.
I think Milo,
Maybe you have to think about
Milo, the best thing
You're
is
not understanding. Milo.
is for you to explain what you mean and what you think should happen, because we don't get.
There we go. It's on screen.
Milo's
So this is being obscured by waves, and periodically you can see the waves raise and obscure it. And fortunately enough, because of the way he's caught it, you can see that periodically it will appear. Sometimes you've got more obstruction because of waves, and sometimes you've got less obstruction. Now, these aren't massive tsunamis. This is a couple of feet swell versus an almost mill pond-like body of water, when he's got the really good images and we can see stuff not obscured by waves that absolutely do periodically rise and fall between you and the midpoint, the convergence line, and subsequently obscure things that are much, much smaller because of their angular size reduction. It's just a shame that you guys don't actually account for perspective, because yes, small things near to you can block out big things that are far away. That's perspective.
Pretty basic.
And on that, I want to thank my audience.
So the difference between what you've just seen with all the waves and what's on screen now is 2-foot swell of waves. That's it. That's the only difference. And yet we managed to lose 90% of this whatever the hell it is, buoy, just by having a couple of feet of waves. Yeah, simple. So why are you denying this? I don't really get it. It's on screen right now. Everyone can see it. There you go. Simple as.
We're gonna address it. None of the images that you showed have a line of sight that's parallel to the water. That's the problem.
You
Sorry,
don't
your
talk
mathematics
rubbish. They're all
don't.
looking
Problem
down
is
to
you
follow
like
your model.
denying things,
Your
man.
mathematics don't ever
You
have
like
that.
denying
Your
things.
mathematics. Why is that an objection when your mathematics never, ever have us parallel?
Shut up,
They
you
never have a
move.
level transit in your mathematics.
Nathan, you believe we live on a flat Earth, so why?
Sorry, I'm not asserting that you can prove anything with this. You are asserting that we've got a bulge between us and target because of the sphericity of Earth. That's what you assert. I say we see things because they're there, and we do have perspective, and perspective can block things in the distance. You say there's a bulge, always there.
Okay, so let's stick on the
The
flat
bulge,
Earth,
where
please.
is it? Where's the bulge?
We have before we move there, we have to stick on the flat Earth because we.
No, we don't.
You know,
We're trying to establish
do.
why are the photographs that we see of stuff in the distance not got a bulge in them when there's calm seas?
Nathan, but the only thing you're ignoring is that.
I'm not ignoring anything. You're ignoring me. Where's the bulge? That's my question.
The only way a wave can obstruct your vision is if we lived on a ball. On a flat.
Yeah, you're such a perspective denier. It's untrue. Yeah, you're just a perspective denier. I've just shown you how perspective can block things from view.
All right.
A wave in the foreground or a DVD in the foreground can block a car in the distance because of an angular size reduction. Yet you want to assert that we can only have obstruction on a globe. You are an idiot.
Right, Milo, can you demonstrate any of what you're saying, or are you just going to
Well,
assert?
because I want to take you guys through this real quick. So if you had a long hallway, if you could picture it,
Milo,
You're not taking us
can
through
you
anything.
demonstrate what you're talking about?
I am.
Well, how are you demonstrating it?
Well, are you gonna let me, or are you just gonna keep talking?
Whoa, you've been on for 2 hangouts. You haven't demonstrated anything, man.
You guys don't let anybody talk. That's the problem.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
What are you talking about? You've been talking.
Milo, there's no more. We don't want you to talk. We want you to show a practical demonstration of what you're talking.
We all know you know the Earth is flat and stationary.
Milo, we've shown you images of how it works, and you're
No, you haven't. You're asserting how it works.
Milo, we've just shown you something of how we think it works. Now
How you think it works.
Milo, you show an image of how you think it works. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna show you an image of a hallway. Maybe I can make my point better like that.
Yeah, show an image of how you think it works.
You think? Would you say a hallway is a proper?
No, not what I think, Milo. Show an image of how you think it works. We've just shown you how we think it works. You said that's wrong. So now you show. Look, it's supposed to be like this, right? So we have a comparison.
So I'm gonna share my screen in a second. Hold up.
So don't ask us any questions because we didn't ask you, do you think, Milo, that this wave should cover this? We told you how it works. So you should now tell us, well, no, this is wrong and this is how it works.
And my computer's bugging out now. I don't know. My computer's messed up right now. But if any of you guys could pull up an image of a hallway.
You're having a laugh. You want us to make your crap example?
Okay, no, I got it. I got it back. All right. You guys seeing my screen? Let me see where I'm gonna look up an image of a long hallway, which illustrates perspective and how we see things.
Why you don't account for it in your mathematics? So our point of how perspective works, I don't really understand why you're going to illustrate this. So you're going to demonstrate to the audience what you don't account for.
He's going to show us how it works on a ball, right, Milo? Not on a flat surface. He's going to show what happens.
This is how it would have to work on a flat surface, and if it doesn't
matter, you said this is how it works. You said this is how it works on a ball, didn't you? Yes.
But you guys don't seem to understand how it works.
I
on a flat
know, Milo, but we told you that this is how it works, and you said this is how it works on a ball. So show us how it. Get a ball.
Can I get through this?
Well, get a ball and show us how it works on a ball.
Can I get through this? Can I please get through this?
You can, but just be aware. You can, but be aware you're going to be showing us how it works on a flat Earth. Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna show you that there's discrepancies between this and how we actually see the Earth.
Well, go up and
Okay.
then. Let's have a look.
Meanwhile,
So do you
meanwhile,
guys
you
see
can
this
show me
hallway?
how water works on a ball too.
Okay, that's fine. Do you guys see this hallway?
Go
Yeah.
on.
Yes,
You
sir.
see it?
So okay, we're
Yeah.
looking. The line of sight of this. There's like fuzziness going on. Is someone making noise? Anyways, okay, better. So okay, the line of sight of this camera right now is parallel to the ground. All right. If there were a 3 centimeter
Parallel to the ground? Absolutely not.
Hold on, Arvin. Just let him get through.
No.
Because this is not the
This camera
important
is
part,
not
Arvin.
parallel to the ground.
Is,
What an
Arvin,
absurd
but the important
suggestion.
part is how it works on a ball. So just let him get through this, and then we're going to go to the ball. He's going to show us how it works on a ball, on a sphere. Okay?
Arwen, you think this isn't the picture isn't parallel to the ground? Is that what you're saying?
Let's not
Yeah.
worry about that. Let's just get through your example
Owen,
so we can
please,
get to the
just
ball.
let
Ridiculous.
him
The
get
camera is
through
at
this
eye
until we
height.
get to
It's
the ball.
obvious.
Exactly
How is
what
it?
it means.
What are you thinking?
What's that?
The camera
It's at
is
eye height?
obviously at eye height.
Yeah, but it's parallel to the ground.
Okay, fine. Yes. Yeah, it is parallel to the ground.
Are we looking angled down or are we
You mean
looking
it's-
angled
it's-
up? What do you
It's
think?
pointing straight
I don't know.
forward.
Perfectly straight.
That's
I know
fine,
where
that's
it's
fine.
looking, but who cares?
We're looking perfectly straight, right?
How do you know? Show me the side elevation. Oh, you haven't got it. You're just going to guess
look at
that
these
this
lights.
camera's level.
You
Show
can
me
tell-
the documentation. Show me him leveling it with a spirit level. Show me spinning it in a 360 degree motion so I can verify that.
That's
Oh,
fine.
you don't have any of this. You've just Googled it 30 seconds ago, and now you're asserting that the camera has a level transit. Oh, wow. What a wanker. Yeah, you haven't verified any of this. You're just asserting it because you're a wanker.
If we had a 3 centimeter hump,
If.
In
What,
this
what are you talking
carpet-
about? If. Go and find one with a 3 centimeter hump, or recreate it like I've done with my Blu-rays, right? Pulling up this crap picture and asserting that we've got a level transit really pisses me off. You don't know anything about this picture. You found it 25 seconds ago. So stop telling us how this picture's constructed. It's not your picture.
You show
You've not
perspective.
taken it. You've not
I will.
verified anything about it.
crazy.
Also, the scale is wrong, Lewis. Look at how near the
Pete.
or at the end
Pete.
is. Come on.
Pete.
Come on.
All right. How tall do you think an object has to be on the floor for it to obscure this light that's on the ceiling?
I've just shown it. I've shown it with my Blu-rays.
Milo,
It's a couple
where
of
was the
millimeters.
proof of
I've
anything?
shown it. Do you
Where
want me to show
was
you
the thing
again?
you were trying to show us?
We've
It
shown
wouldn't
it.
have to go
I've
all the
shown
way
it.
up to the
I'm trying to show you. I'm trying
Milo,
to show you how.
Acknowledge what
look
I've just said
on a
to
flat
you.
Earth.
I have shown this.
Oh.
Do you want me to show you again?
Your Blu-rays?
Yeah.
You think you proved something with your Blu-rays? You
Well,
haven't
you're
proved
not
anything
proving
with your
anything.
Blu-rays.
You're showing us a hallway and asking us to conceptualize
You're
where I've
despicable.
physically shown it. That you do have an angular size reduction at distance and a
The floor.
small sliver of Blu-ray, which was transparent enough to see the thing being obscured behind it. Yeah, that was demonstrated. This
There-
isn't a
there
demonstration
isn't
of anything. You're asking us to conceptualize how much we think would be obscured if. This is
Point.
nonsense.
You're saying that things can be obscured.
Yeah,
even
I've
if they're
shown
parallel to your line of
it
sight.
for the second and third time. I had it up on screen. Yeah, I showed it. I went and physically did this myself in about 2.5 minutes this morning. I actually did something rather than telling us to conceptualize as you go and wiki or Google search a hallway and then give us a crap point of nothing to do with your argument with sphericity.
You haven't shown a parallel line of sight, Nathan. What
I
do you
don't
want-
need
what-
to show a parallel line of sight. Your model has the camera angle down. I dealt with this objection immediately.
Look, there isn't a 3 centimeter object that can obscure the light on the ceiling. There isn't. It's just not possible. It will never happen.
You're a
3
perspective
centimeter.
denier.
Anthony,
You're a pers-
Yeah, but
you're a
Milo,
perspective
it's not the
denier,
distance.
Does this
Milo,
floor? Does this floor have
Milo,
waves?
it's not the distance between
That's-
this
that are gonna
observer,
come up
the thing
and-
covering it, and the
Yeah.
thing that's being covered. So if
excuse
you
me.
if you add more distance, it will get
Mm-hmm.
covered.
So what you're saying is that can you see my screen still?
Yes.
Okay, so you're saying is if there was let's say a 2 foot
I
a
think you're
2
just
foot
trolling
a 2
now.
foot thing, a 2 foot object here, you're saying that if this hallway was longer, that this would go down and it would this light would go down and be obscured by this 2 foot object here.
Well, you
Yeah,
can cover
I've
the
shown it. It
sun
was on
with your-
screen. It was literally on screen. When it's close, It's visible, and when it's far away, it's obscured because it's had an angular size reduction because of its increased distance. Not only that, you can see massive things in the very far distance as far as this scale is concerned, i.e. the cars, going past and being obscured by approximately 3 or 4 millimeters of Blu-ray case, because it's closer. That's perspective. Something you guys omit from your calculations.
Pete, so let's
Stop talking to Pete. You've just given us a conceptual example, and I have demonstrated it. It is shown on screen right now with a car in the very far distance, considerably bigger than a Blu-ray, the first thing I showed, getting obscured. There it goes, being obscured. Amazing, isn't it? How perspective, you can have a couple of millimeters of Blu-ray case obscuring an entire car.
Okay, so Pete.
Yeah, okay. Are you conceding that your nonsense is nonsense?
Pete.
No, because you're.
Because I want to
you're,
deny perspective, because the ball demands it. All hail R.
Nathan, you have to let people talk. If you're gonna say stuff, you have to let them respond to you.
You've said plenty.
Right. You've had 2 hours and you've achieved nothing.
Right.
Praise be to R.
You've literally proved nothing, just obfuscated for the whole 2
so-
sessions.
R.
So my example
as well. Think of the scale you're talking about.
Okay, but this floor is represented by the water. It's flat, just like the water.
Really, there's water on screen now, right? And there's maybe 300 feet of land at 30 miles, and it's visible. So,
Not all of it.
Where's the obstruction? I don't get it. Where's the obstruction?
Not all of it.
The point is, it should be all obscured.
What about this boat? So this boat sits, well, I don't know, 2 or 3 miles away, approximately where you guys say there should be the top of the hump, the obstruction. And yet behind it, as though there was a straight line between it, there's all these buildings that are completely revealed. It doesn't seem to be higher. There's no hump. So in this picture, where's the hump? I don't really get it. It doesn't make any sense. There's no obstruction. There's no hump blocking our view. There needs to be, but there isn't. So this makes no sense to me. Where's the obstruction? Where's the hump?
I have hunger when it bulges can satisfy.
So where are the 3 centimeter waves that can obstruct this? You're saying that 3 centimeter waves.
Oh, you want me to go back to that one? Yeah, I'll go and get that up. Yeah, no problem. Because this is actually the view that was obstructed.
So this view right here is parallel to the ground.
Yeah,
you have to
this
show
was
an
the view
example
that was
of something
obstructed
that's
by
parallel to the
waves.
ground,
Yeah, by
obstructing
2
something in
foot
the
waves.
distance.
That's right. The view that was literally just on screen a moment ago is the
This
view
one right here?
that can be. No, this is a slightly different picture now.
Okay.
But the
Blu-rays
picture
you're
of that
talking about, the
boat,
Blu-rays again?
yeah, with Barrow Inverness in the background, that is what was being obscured by literally a 2 foot swell.
Where's the 2 foot swell?
I'm just getting it up on screen. Give me a minute, man.
Okay. And you have to show that you have a parallel line of sight with the water.
Why? In your model, we're looking down,
Because it's a
whether we
flat
want
Earth.
to or not. We're looking down
Because
in
it's
your
a
model.
flat
So
Earth.
stop telling
If it's
us about. Stop demanding level transits, right? Because that's not what your model does. Your model doesn't give us any opportunity for a level transit. We have to point our camera down.
This is obviously not parallel to the water.
Sorry, you don't know anything about this observation.
I don't think it has to be parallel.
Of course it does. So
Right,
you're
you
telling
do
me if it's
realise-
angled down?
Sorry, he's now going on to whether or not the camera's parallel. Well, we've got to totally obliterating his assertion that you can't have a 2 foot swell blocking things. You can. This is the demonstration of it. This is in line with the boat and the town behind it. When you've got a clear ocean, when you've got no swell. When you have a swell, what do you know? You can block the thing in the background out with a very small wave in the foreground. Yeah, that's perspective. So you have asserted that you can't do this. When does a 2 foot wave obscure? Well, there you go. It's on screen. You just going to take us on to some other nonsense now, or are you actually going to concede like you haven't done for the entire 2 hours?
Right, can I just say, Nathan?
So what's on screen now is the town behind with no swell. And you can see the boat was... It's not, you can't see it in this, but yeah. The boat is on the same exact plane. It's a plane flat between us and it. The entire way between us and the town.
Nathan,
18 miles away.
Because A, I was getting tired of him just being an idiot, like denying perspective. And B, he just stated that these photos that you were showing prove a sphere Earth. So I kicked him because he was just being a denier. And he's like M. Scott Veach. He's a perspective denier. He makes up stories, presents nothing, and basically denies evidence to the contrary of his opinion because he's a perspective denier.
Yeah.
He denies
I
everything.
think a lot
Everything you
of
put
it
in
was
front
he
of his
was
face,
just
he denies it.
The denial was great in that one.
he was just
Ridiculous.
trolling, really. And I mean, really, after he said that, you could find a level spot on a ball with a spirit
Curve, yeah.
level.
Curve is level.
That's when I knew right then he's just trolling.
Yeah.
I've often said that a $2 mini spirit level calibrated and made in China proves a flat Earth. This is their argument that level is level everywhere around the ball. It's all fucking nonsense, isn't it? It really is nonsense. And we learned certainly nothing from Lewis or Milo there. It's perspective 101. And of course, he knows that well enough as well. He's just having a rip off of us.
I'm just waiting for Pete to pass whatever he's smoking.
Yeah.
It's an ordinary tobacco cigarette, man. The other stuff comes a bit later on. So.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great show, Nathan. Thank you.
Whilst Milo's gone, Nath, is it worth extending the show long enough so we can respond to M. Scott Beach's video about perspective denial?
Oh, wow. Anything for dust on the shelf?
We've addressed it in debate with Milo, but if you want to go through it, that would round out the show quite nicely.
Do we have any scientific evidence of dust on the shelf?
Yeah. To be honest, I'd rather not bother going through it in the sense that there's only 5-10 minutes left, and it warrants more of a critique than what we could give it in 5 or 10 minutes. It warrants screen sharing and laughing at the points that he makes.
I don't mind at all. If this takes another hour, I don't mind.
Right. Well,
take as long as you like.
I would like to see it. I would like to see it, Anthony.
We need the sound of it though, Nathan. You'll have to play it at the relevant part so that the sound goes through. Because the key point that he does is he shows that he moves something back and then he drops the size of the thing that he's moving back. But then he moves the observer forward to it and then states that it's still 1,000 feet. But he's moved the observer forward to it, which is essentially the point that he's trying to argue against. He thwarts his own argument by moving the observer close to it. And that's the point we're trying to make, that these objects are small when over distance. They're not the same size. And he denies perspective in doing so and states orthography in doing so. And it's laughable. And it would be wrong to think that he's just being dumb. He's not stupid. M. Scott Veach understands this. But he pushes the narrative because he can't concede it, because it destroys their argument. So he has to argue against it by trying to make things sound complicated. But it's really straightforward. If we live on a plane, things get smaller over distance. End of statement. If we live on a ball, things get smaller over distance and drop behind the curve, but also a bulge starts to rise up from the middle part, and that gets bigger as everything else is getting smaller. So there are three effects.
There should be an x-axis bulge.
Yeah, a bulge rises between the observer and the target, and because that's only half the distance away, relatively speaking, it's double the height that it actually is because of perspective. It's closer to us by half. So it's like, the guy's a moron. He's dishonest. He's pushing the narrative no matter what. Yeah. And he's trying to make it sound complicated and trying to draw an orthographic representation to try and confuse people that what he's talking about is correct. But he's denying that perspective is a thing the minute he moves the observer closer to the target. So if you want to go and view his video, watch for the part where he shrinks the target and then he moves the observer closer to it and claims that it's the same height. It's only the same height because he's moved the observer closer to it. And that's the point we're making. When the observer's not close to it, that thing is not the same size. It's shrunk.
And with that, I think I'll say first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, then you know what to do. But if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you have not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!